I'm Pastor Kurt, and this is your 5-minute Bible study. Today, we're going to be looking at Mark chapter 1, verses 21 through 28. Now, this section starts off with Jesus teaching in the synagogue in Capernaum. That is just something Jesus did, right? He taught people. Capernaum, though, sometimes when you hear place names in the Bible, we don't give them a whole lot of thought. We just pay more attention to the action of the scene than where it takes place. But Capernaum is a place that we need to pay attention to. Capernaum was Jesus' home base as an adult. If you think about his birth story that we get in Luke, now remember, this story comes in Mark, but we're going to think about Luke here for just a moment. In Luke, we hear that Jesus was born in Bethlehem, raised in Nazareth, but he makes his home base in Capernaum. Now, Capernaum was a city along the coast of the Sea of Galilee, and it was really just a stopover place for a lot of people. Nobody really stayed in Capernaum. It was sort of a place that you would spend the night and then you would move on to your next place. Jesus used that as his home base. Why? Well, because he knew that people would be passing through. And so as they passed through, they would hear him as he would teach in the synagogue in Capernaum, or maybe they would see him do a miracle, and then they would take that news with them when they went to the next town. They would be like, hey, did you hear about what that guy did back in Capernaum? The news would get out about what Jesus did. So that was intentional, Jesus picking Capernaum. So he's there in the synagogue in Capernaum, he's teaching. Well, but there's more to this scene than just Jesus teaching. Somebody comes into the synagogue with an unclean spirit. They're possessed. And so what does Jesus do? He casts out that unclean spirit. Again, for us, that doesn't seem like a big deal because we've heard about Jesus doing this before. But think about what he was just doing in the synagogue. He was teaching. Then there comes this healing. And then at the very end of this scene, the people are astounded at what he just did. But they don't say, hey, he just cast out this demon. No, they say he's teaching with authority. So it's interesting, they focus on the teaching rather than the healing, but I'm not so sure the two are separate. Think about it. Jesus' words heal people. Jesus' teaching is his healing. When we have a scene like this that talks about Jesus teaching and then talks about Jesus healing immediately after that, I'm not so sure those two events are meant to be separated. They're meant to be seen together. Jesus' teaching and his healing go together because his teaching heals people. His teaching casts out those spirits. Think about in your own life. Think about when you've been reading the Bible, or maybe you've heard something about Jesus, you've heard a sermon, or you've read a devotional, or something like this, and you hear those words of Jesus and they heal you. Maybe not physically, okay, but maybe they do cast out those demons within you. Those demons of fear and doubt and insecurity, these sorts of things, right? We all know how powerful words can be, especially Jesus' words. His words and his promises and his love have the power to heal us. There's something about it that just makes you feel better. Maybe you know what I'm talking about. Maybe you've had that experience. It's sort of like listening to music, right? You know how music can move you. It touches you emotionally. Jesus' words have the same effect. right? They touch you emotionally. They can heal you. They can change you. So when we hear about Jesus teaching and we hear about him healing, think about that as being two ways of saying the same thing. Jesus' teaching heals you. There's your 5-minute Bible study for the day. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.